What is happening, creator? So what you are seeing on my screen should save me the time of having to do a real introduction for this video. If I had to do life all over again and I could only read one self-development book, I would have to take Atomic Habits with me every single day of the week. And it's just because the foundations that it equips you with are just phenomenal. My first time ever reading it, I listened to the audiobook version of it. It was like 3 hours. Had a road trip from like Central Florida back down to South Florida. And after just listening to it for the first time, I was mind blown and I knew I had to read it right away. Some of my big takeaways are the identity-based habits, systems over goals, and lastly, it made me realize that time is either going to be your biggest enemy or your greatest ally, depending on what your everyday habits are. Book number 2, this one's like hit or miss because I feel like in order to be able to receive the teachings in this one, you really have to have gone through enough pain or suffered like a deep enough loss to be in this mind state where like egoic walls and barriers, you just have to be very open-minded. Because if you were like me growing up and you subscribe to Christianity, you were raised Christian, anything that's not Christianity is completely of the devil, then you're going to be completely closed-minded to the wisdom from this book because it doesn't align with your programmed belief system, which is a funny topic. One of the most impactful things we can do when we're in our late teens and early 20s is really just a lot of unlearning, observing behaviors in others, maybe your parents or friends that maybe don't resonate with you, and imagine what the opposite of what that is. That's at least how I did a lot of my unlearning and personal introspection. When I came across this book, it wasn't by accident. I was seeking something. I didn't know what at the time, but basically I had just lost everything. My entire real estate business that I've been building for the past 2 years had just gone under. I had just gotten scammed out of $100,000 from people that were supposed to be potential investors in the commercial properties that we were looking into. And so it got ugly. I was really, mentally and physically fit at the time, and I was just stuck there with nothing, asking myself, how could this have happened to me? What was I missing? I ended up finding out that I was missing something spiritual. And I found this creator that I looked up to. I looked at his reading list and he had The Power of Now, The Way of the Superior Man, and The Millionaire Fastlane. The Millionaire Fastlane didn't really have as much of an impact on me because I already understood the entrepreneur mindset at that point. But these two books in companionship with one another blew me away. Every single day I was reading like a chapter of each. I mean, the Way of the Superior Man, you only need to go through part 1 to really get the core value of its teachings. But every one chapter a day of The Power of Now completely transformed my way of being. And so ever since that point, I've been living much more present. It really is like what they say in religion, like where you were born again. I was born again after really applying that deep level of presence and awareness to the present moment moving forward. It talks a lot about masculine and feminine polarities. And years after reading both these books, I realized that The Power of Now is a really great resource for healing the inner divine feminine in all of us. And The Way of the Superior Man is a really great way to heal the inner divine masculine in all of us. And one line that just constantly sticks with me until the end of time, any chapter in my life where I'm not creating, this quote echoes in my mind: spend at least 1 hour a day doing whatever it is you simply love to do, what you deeply feel you need to do in your heart. In spite of the daily duties that seem to constrain you, however, be forewarned, you may discover that you don't or can't do it, that in fact your fantasy of your future life is simply a fantasy. Most postponements are excuses for a lack of creative discipline. Limited money, family obligations have never stopped a man who really wanted to do something, although they provided excuses for a man who was not really up to the creative challenge in the first place. Find out today whether you are willing to do what it takes to give your gift fully. So that right there is pure conviction for me. Like, if I don't do it for at least an hour every day, something moving the needle towards this mission of just sharing my gifts fully, then I wasn't up for the creative challenge. And that makes me sad. Just something that I will not settle for. So another quote from this book that really piqued my interest was how it talks about a woman's mission in this life is the search for love, and a man's mission in this life is the search for freedom. All right, next up, Millionaire Success Habits. So this book back in 2018 was the one that finally convinced me to take action and stop being such a loser. This made me finally start taking action in my life to start distancing myself from my friends from high school, to start spending more time with myself. This led me to networking events, Bumble business, trying to get myself in the room of other successful entrepreneurs. Like, this just snowballed into the biggest year I ever had, 2019. It afforded me so many opportunities, and I got to learn from such incredible people that I have that experience alone to thank for the majority of my experience in marketing and social media. Of course, the book is a lot more than just that, but the thing is, it has a lot of other really practical exercises for finding your purpose and a lot of other wealth building habits. But they also have a 30-day Better Life challenge. Dean Graziosi has this incredible challenge that's completely digital. You sign up for it and you'll get an email every morning with your lesson or action item of the day to get yourself further to that alignment. So I highly recommend you go check this out. All of the links are going to go to the Substack article. Let us move on. Steal Like an Artist, an absolute classic, a must read for creators, a lot of images, such a fun read. The whole trilogy is highly worth purchasing. Please do yourself a favor and get all 3 of these. Show your work, keep going, steal like an artist. The final 2 books are Alex Hormozi's $100 million offers. There's not much to say here. I call it the science behind making offers so good that your audience will feel stupid saying no. I honestly have to admit, I never read this book fully through myself. I've only watched the book summaries of it, but the book just has such a special place in my heart that I couldn't not mention it. And finally, The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. It's so mindful, so inspiring, so demure. Okay, I'm sorry. I believe this book naturally helps artists connect the dots between art and spiritual wisdom. All of the pages just resonate deep in my soul. It is such a mindful activity to read this book that I'll sometimes just swap out my meditation for reading a couple pages of this. It's so good. Like, this is what spiritual self-care looks like, reading this book. Also, I'm kind of upset because I don't actually have a physical copy of this book. I keep forgetting to order it. Oh, I like filling my study here, but I mostly read digitally. To very briefly share with you my workflow for reading books, I use this app called Readwise, and I find copies of all of my books, and I currently read it in here because when I use Readwise, I have the ability to start the text-to-speech, and I can listen to the book while I read it, and I can highlight, and all of them are connected.
You might imagine
Readwise,
that the outside world,
and it's just a good flow. Real education is free. So this is going to be a lightning round where I list some of my favorite mentors that have been living rent-free in my head. I'm going to try to encapsulate what their work means to me in a couple words. I'm also going to include a mystery link inside of the words. And so if you click on it, you're going to find what I deem to be their most valuable resource. Let's run it. We got Tony Robbins, Self-Mastery and Physiology. We got Dan Koch, The One-Person Business, also just kind of like the modern day philosopher that the creator economy needed. And Milet, Maxing Out Your Life. I'm just going to spoiler alert this mystery link. He has a technically free booklet, free just pay shipping booklet that absolutely transformed my life and how I go about maximizing my day. Alex Hormozi, Offer Building. I'm gonna find you guys a nice link for Alex Hormozi, maybe more than one. Jose Rosado, Copywriting and Digital Products. This guy is like the GOAT when it comes to email marketing. Leo Gura, if you guys know about actualize.org already, we can be good friends. Wisdom, Raw Wisdom. He's also a fellow Life Path 33. Naval Ravikant. Honestly, when I hear his name, I think of what a modern day philosopher looks like. Neuro Knowledge, Demystifying Spirituality. I put manifestation and spirit, but maybe we'll update it. Mino Lee, Gen Z Social Media Sauce. This guy has just been absolutely crushing the social media game, and I'm going to be taking pointers from him with how I'm approaching my short form moving forward. Ben Kaluza, Creator and Streamer Tools. He's kind of been doing what I've been wanting to do with sharing creator resources and creator tools with the Flow Creators org for a minute. And so he's kind of like mastered this craft and art. So I just wanted to share his profile with you guys. Dr. Chris Lee, practical self-regulation tips, this guy's just a real one. Also, I was going to show you like each of their profiles in this video, but I don't want this to be a 40-minute video. So go to the Substack article and explore for yourself, discover something new. DR22, anonymous spiritual cult leader on X. All I've got to say is that this guy just does not miss. He's got a very interesting and unique approach to social media, and I really vibe with it. Gary V, social media news and motivation. Gary V's social media coverage just never disappoints. He's always on top of it, and he's extremely inspiring for creators. He's actually a Life Path 11, very influential. Yeah. Chris Do, designer, creative business mentor. Stephen G. Pope, he's a hidden gem. He's blown up more recently, I think. I haven't checked on his YouTube channel in a long time, but oh, he's got a sick school community. Healthygamer.gg. These are for my recovering gamers out there. This guy just has some very down-to-earth advice that's catered especially towards gamers that I needed to shout out here, because I myself used to be a huge League of Legends addict, this YouTube channel, so I just have a little tangent on college. So you see, I was fortunate enough to have found my creative gift early on. I excelled in my high school TV production program. I ended up with landing my dream career right out of high school, and this gave me the confidence to take a bet on myself. I didn't even finish my first semester in college, and I decided I needed to drop out. For one, the curriculum was dated. I could tell this because I'd been in the industry already myself. I'd been self-taught through YouTube, and I honestly believed that I probably could have been teaching the class better than my professor doing real-world projects. Like, the stuff was just ancient that they were teaching. And so I felt very out of place. I knew I was blowing my time and money on that college program, so I just dropped out. But that's not a luxury. Like, having that sort of confidence at a young age, having that sort of experience is not something that everybody gets to have. Like, personally, I feel really grateful and blessed because I didn't even decide to pick TV production when I started high school. I was given that elective by accident, by chance. I didn't ask for it, I was just given it, and I fell in love with the creative process. Now, I tell you guys this because this is one of the main reasons why I started the Flow Creators Academy, because I understand that real education is free. Because my gift is knowing all of the resources out there. I spend all of my waking time. I'm obsessed with creator tools, creator workflows. Like, I was a lazy creator, so I always had the best presets and like strategies at like optimizing the process. And that's carried into today in different flavors. Like, I've tried every single digital tool. I've probably spent the past 2.5 years just exploring more creative tools. And so with that being said, I do plan on sharing some of my productivity and knowledge management workflows and tools with you in the coming weeks. Definitely make sure you subscribe and like the video if you like this type of content. So here's a tweet from Danko. It's incredible how many people still believe you need a college degree to see any form of success. The conditioning runs deep. I truly believe college is public enemy number one. It's straight up robbing today's youth from intellectual dependence and throwing them into criminally large amounts of debt before they have the experience or common sense to see through it. It doesn't help that most parents are subscribed to this notion, or even worse, it is their parents' dream to send their kids to college. Like, that breaks my heart for people because I know how much of a trap college can be. Here's another tweet from Danko. The barrier to opportunity 20 years ago, your college, your network, your location, your job title, your social economic status, barriers to opportunity today, the internet. And so just please do not fall for the trap of college. If you're already in college, then all I can say to you is honestly, if you were in front of me, most likely your job doesn't actually require that degree. And I would likely tell you to cut your losses, but some of you guys are so far deep that I would probably just say, don't wait any longer to start building the life that you want. Like, start that side hustle, start that blog, start making content, because the content that you put of yourself online is the new resume. It is what affords people opportunities. When you show up authentically online, you attract your tribe, and those tribe are the people that are going to bring you opportunities. Especially if you master the game of social media, never has there been a time in history where a single person has so much ability to influence without the need for money or power. Social media is the great equalizer. Use it and don't let it use you. I've seen the life, independence, the potential of so many stunted by college, and it's so twisted. That is one of the main reasons why I show up to create these videos and to share these resources. So if you made it this far, welcome to the Flow Creators movement. Clearly a student of life, and you understand what it means to be obsessed with uncovering and living your personal truth. So I just want to thank you for being here. And that's about it for today. Keep flowing, stay growing. Catch you next time.